Now, it's been 30 years of economic zones in Nigeria, and I have joining me an investment and economic development expert, Ogbonna Ukuku, to take a deeper look at how these zones have impacted the economy and how they will shape the future. You're welcome to Business Express.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Leah.
Yeah, perhaps we start by you telling us how has Nigeria fared in utilizing the economic zones?
No, we have fared basically well. Let me use the word fared well because you know how investors think. Investors reason from where they don't want to see encumbrances. They're looking for how to untie barriers. Yes, Nigeria is a good place for people to do business, but when the free trade zone thing was created, it made it a lot easier for people who don't want to, who want a one-stop shop arrangement for them to just come in and do their business. So they felt a bit more comfortable, and then they decided to go, putting their money in some of those free trade zones.
Okay, Nigeria has been looking to deepen income, let's say, from non-oil sources. And of course, on the other hand, we're also looking to stamp feet in the intra-African trade space while the whole continent look at it. But then where will be the place of these zones when we're talking intra-African trade?
Now, first of all, we need to even look at what these special economic zones are supposed to be doing. See, for industrialization, two things are involved. You must look at skill and specialization. Now, if skill, specialization, and the next thing is scaling. Now, if you have zones where you have specialized products that can come out of those places, and then you put in the required infrastructure, when I say, shared infrastructure where different businesses can come and coexist and then use, similar infrastructure that you've been able to put in place, first things first, it reduces their cost of production, and then raw material supply becomes a bit easier. So now, if that infrastructure is there, and then the market which they require is something that they can actually get from the same spot, so it makes it a lot easier for everybody that wants to come and do business there. So have we done well? Yes, I would say we are just scratching the surface, because whether you like it or not, there's still so much that we've not been able to do, because the economy is so large, and then we've just done minimally with the Lagos Free Trade Zone, where you have the refinery project coming on stream soon, and then basically we've not done so much when it comes to agriculture as regards this the free trade zone. So I still think there's so much we need to do as far as I'm concerned. So we need to be able to get investments into making that infrastructure, providing the infrastructure that will make it easier for transactions to flourish.
Okay, now Africa is accounting for only 2.5% of global trade, but then when you see the population, compared to the percentage of the population we're contributing to the global population, where should we be looking at? You're already identifying some of those things that are missing. How do we actively get ourselves industrialized beyond the talking?
Now, see, first things first, and I always say that one of the biggest issues we have when it comes to industrialization is our ability to even have that basic infrastructure power to make sure that industry, our industries can actually function. Unless you're talking about industries that won't require, those level of power. Maybe you provide power within that particular space. Yes, that can work. Now, if you create an ecosystem where there is a complete layout where industries can just come and plug in and play, it becomes a lot easier. That's what I said. See, we still need a lot of investment in that area. So I think first things first, what we should do is to be able to source for investment to provide those basic infrastructure that we need in those economic zones. Then number two, we'll now begin to look for specialized industrial technology providers who will be able to support that particular zone. Then number three, create products, financial products that will be able to accommodate or be, that will fit into those specific industrial zones or whatever the products that they are going to be focusing on. So the markets, like I always say, if you have you're able to reduce your cost of production. Now market becomes a lot easier. I mean, access to market becomes a lot easier, because if people know that if I come to this place, I'll be able to find this at a cheaper rate, why not? I'll definitely go there. I'll go there and do business. So our contribution as a continent becomes a bit more difficult, because that basic infrastructure that we need to do in those economic zones have not been done. Countries like China, India, they've invested so much in this particular space, but we have not, because we're still looking for monies to do basic railways. We're still looking for funds to do road, So for me, to do a seaport, a deep sea port, you know what that will cost? So you need another, a more creative way of financing a deep sea port for you to. No state government, no federal government cannot even bring out that kind of money. Where will you get that kind of funds from?
So where should the funds come from?
The funds will come. Okay, look at a country like Singapore. Singapore, there's a place called Jurong Island in Singapore. It's actually a basic example that they need to understudy. What Singapore was able to do was to pull investment to a particular space, removed all bureaucracy, and then, as I speak today, Jurong Island has over $90 billion investment, investment, and they're all in oil and gas. Guess what? There's no well around there. The closest oil and gas infrastructure there is from Indonesia, which is about 650 kilometers to Jurong Island. What does that tell you? If you have such thing created in Nembe, in Bayelsa State, people will run. Is there? Yes, that's where the oil is. You can imagine they had to run a 650-kilometer pipeline from Indonesia to Jurong Island, and it's all basically oil and gas refineries, petrochemical plants. That's what you have there. So so it goes to show that if there's an efficiency in your system, and if you don't forget, when it comes to ease of doing business, they always first Singapore, right? So that means there's something that they have done, which we ought to adopt. It makes it easier at that point in time when people see that they can actually come and put in money in your economy, and then the money they can, at the time of exiting, they will be able to exit stressfully. See, whether you like it or not, and on the chessboard of investment, there's always the $900 billion looking for where to go to. Every time you turn, you will see that money there, because investors need to make more money. But you need to create that efficiency within your system, because now it goes to show that in as much as investors look for their raw materials seeking, their natural resources seeking, they are looking for market, with your population. One thing is very key to them: efficiency in the system. Because if Jurong Island have been able to prove to us that you don't need an oil and gas infrastructure, when I mean infrastructure as in you don't have a deep well or to bring out crude oil for you to have a refinery, and they do, and it's working, and people are going there to buy, and I won't be shocked if NNPC is buying from there. So I'm just trying to say that efficiency is everything. So if you're able to create an efficient system, you will see investment will begin to flow to you.
Can you work here?
Of course, it can work anywhere. It can work in Sobibor. It can work anywhere. It's a system. You create it. You are very deliberate about it. You make sure that everybody aligns. You cascade from the federal level to the state level. Everybody will know this is my role. It is not when you're moving truck. I say this. It is easier for you to move goods from China through Benin Republic to Ibadan than for you to move goods from Macmillan bus stop, that's already on the express, to Lagos from Ibadan Express, to move it to Benin Republic. It's easier from China. Look at the distance. Why? Because as you are moving, one person is stopping you on the road at their local government. Somebody is disturbing you, their youth. This one. So it is something we need to sit back and have this well-structured, designed, strategic, systematic way of making sure that we see things from an investor's prism.
That works for everyone.
That works for everyone. Everybody's comfortable.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Ogbonna, for making our time to come on the program.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Great.